Hi, this is Lady Lex UK. Right, I've had a complaint, so I think I need to explain some things about my top 10 because I keep getting similar comments and people are not really understanding what this top 10 is and what it isn't. So let me explain. Okay. My previous top 10 of the week I was trying to create the most accurate top 10 I possibly could. There was no information on Dreams that allowed us to see what the most popular levels of the week were, and I was trying to fill that gap. That required me to make a spreadsheet, monitor the feeds, try to work out what the most popular games were, and monitor their thumbed up activity. After doing this for 3 months, it became very painfully clear that in order to be accurate, I had to monitor hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. And this became completely unmanageable. And with the bug in the feed that meant I could no longer maintain my position in that feed, it became so onerous that I got that it was like 6 hours on a Sunday to create this particular feed. And although this is the most accurate I could get, so it included not just releases of the week but also anything that had been released previous to that. So you can see in this particular top 10 I've got lots of new things that have been added, but there's a few things that were there that were in the previous week, and I've also got a re-entry of Comic Sans, which was obviously released months ago but is still very popular and gets lots of thumbs up. So this was intended to be the most accurate depiction of games that were popular and Dreams and were popular that week and how many thumbs up they got that week. And even with all of like 600, 700 games that was monitored, even with that, there was room for error where with a game had slipped through the net, hadn't been added to the playlist, and I hadn't monitored their numbers and I didn't include them. So even then it wasn't the 100% accurate. It was as accurate as I could get it to be, but it wasn't 100%. Then when I decided I wasn't going to do this anymore, I asked you, do you want me to do top 10s? I could use the new feed that Dreams is providing to do that. And you all said, we love the top 10s, please continue. So this is the list that I now make. This is the top 10 releases of the week. What I do on a Sunday is I go into the Forever Popular feed in Dream Shaping and I copy out the top 10 as it is shown. That's what I did for the first 4 weeks of this experiment. I just wrote them out, put them all in exactly as it was seen on that particular Sunday. Then last Sunday, Sunday before last, I noticed a problem. If you launched your game on a Sunday, even if you launched it after I did my top 10, it wasn't eligible for the following Sunday's feed. So if you launched it on a Sunday, even if you launched it after I'd done my top 10 list, it was never going to appear in the following week. So this week I did Saturday and Sunday, combined the two, and that gives me everything that was launched this week and their numbers. So my top 10 of the week has this criteria. Was it released this week? And how many thumbs up did it receive? And which has the most? That's it. The most thumbs up of anything released this week. So if you launch something last week, it doesn't matter how many thumbs ups it received this week, it's not eligible for this top 10. And that is what happened with Foxtails. And this was the complaint. Why is Foxtails not in your top 10 list? Why didn't you pick it? Well, let me just say, and I'll be very clear about this, I do not pick. I do not pick. I do not choose. These are not personal choices. I am not excluding anybody. This is the list as provided by Media Molecule in the Dreamiverse. All I'm doing is copying it out. I don't choose any of it. If you were not in the top 10 on Sunday the 17th of November, or Saturday and Sunday the 23rd and 24th of November, you are not going to be on this page. That's it. And this is what happened with Foxtails. They launched it on the 16th of November. So by the time it got to Sunday, it didn't have enough likes to be in that week's top 10. And by the time it got to the following week, it was not eligible for the top 10 because it wasn't launched that week. So that is the compromise with this top 10. It is no longer showing you the most popular games of the week. It is showing you the most popular games that were launched that week, which is a different top 10. And I did explain this when I did my video on the top 10. So that is why. So let me just show you the feed that I use. Dream Surfing, Forever Popular, Most Thumbed Up Dreams released this week. This is the feed I use. On a Sunday morning, I go in and I find out what the top 10 is. And now I also go in on a Saturday and look at that list as well. So if it's in Saturday and then combine Saturday and Sunday together, that gives me all of the most thumbed up dreams released this week. So I make sure that I've covered everything. And that is it. That is my top 10 list, and that is what it is. So if your game doesn't become popular in the week that you launched it, you're not going to be in this list. And it is not me excluding you. It's not me choosing not to add you. I know Foxtails was popular. If you look at the most thumbed up dreams of the month, there it is there. Okay? It just didn't fall. The amount of likes it got just didn't get to the numbers it needed to be in the most thumbed up dreams of the week it was released. And because they released it on a Saturday, it's not surprising really. So if they released it on a Monday, they probably would have been in it. Because they released it at the end of the week, that is what has happened. Right, so that is the compromise. This is released this week. So how many thumbs up this received in the week that it was released, and it had to have been released in the week that I do the top 10. That's it. That's what the top 10 is. So I'm not excluding people. I'm not choosing. It's not a personal choice, and I'm not purposely leaving things out. This is just how this feed works. And if you want a different sort of feed, you're going to have to talk to Media Molecule about what you want to see. Because games are going to fall through the cracks. Popular games are not going to be in here. And the same goes for the most popular dreams of the month. I could do one monthly, but if you launch your game at the end of the month, you might not make it into this feed. So if you launch it on the 30th of November, you might be the most popular game in December. But because you released it in November, you're not going to be in most thumbed up dreams for November, and you're not going to be in the most thumbed up dreams for December. So you fall through the cracks, you're missing. It's almost as if you didn't exist. And that is what these feeds are like. Let me just be clear. You do something at the end of the month, or the end of the week, or the end of the day, you are never going to be in any of these lists. And you are never going to make it into the into this list either, by the way, because these are pretty much fixed. All the beta creations that are in here, they're not going to be touched because the amount of people playing and thumbing up is nowhere near big enough to get into this list. I think the only game that has got any chance whatsoever to make it into the top 100 is Ruckus. And I'm not actually sure whether it's made it into the top 100 yet. If it has, it's scraping in at 199, something like that. Right, so there you go. That is the compromise. So I'm sorry, creators of Foxtails, that you didn't make it into the top 10 on my site. You did make it into my pick of the week. So, don't feel too bad. I haven't ignored your game. It's just that my top 10 list is a bit of a weird one. This is what it is. And this is what Media Molecule are providing, and this is all I have to go on. So if you, like I say, if you don't like it, if you want Media Molecule to show something different, talk to them. Right, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in your dream.